10 to 12 minutes easily
in these riders,
you know,
and that was 2/3 the distance.
Yeah, I was going to say, so you know, we could well see big gaps play out today, and big moves in the overall GC. Lucas Barrier leading the youth competition at the moment, so he is well quite comfortably leading that competition, 41 minutes clear of Torva. So those white sleeves and white shorts indicating the leader in that youth competition. If you're wondering what the green skin suits are, those are the competitors in the Masters competition, because all of those Masters competitors, it doesn't matter what category they're in, are in those green skin suits, signifying to the other competitors who their competition is. Well, Quickstrom right at the front here with Vergara and Ivanov. And Ivanov now starting to motor up on the outside, up on the left-hand side at the 1 kilometre marker. This is the push into the descent, taking the momentum into the next section of the climb as they come up and over. Every single little bit of tactic helps. Garces Zimmel on your screen at the moment. He's currently sat fourth wheel here and pushing on. He too is riding strongly, not just in that King of the Mountains competition, but overall he's 19 seconds back on GC. So the rider we've got on our screen at the moment is going to be battling out there today.
He is. We're going to have to see how this goes as he continues to push onwards here. I think it's a good move to go up at the front here if you're in contention. I think the way that this course is riding and racing particularly rather than necessarily riding, it really does pay to keep an eye on what other people are doing as well as yourself. Now, just saw Nathan Craik on our screens. They're just keeping an eye on what's going on. He's looking very fresh actually today. Well,
I'm hoping his rest day has helped, and it is a bit of a baptism of fire, the MyWhoosh Championships, Nathan Craik's very first competition on MyWhoosh. You know, you picked a tough one, Nathan, but as I said, not all heroes wear capes. You're doing an absolute sterling job out there, and the riders and the community around you as well. Can I just say, Jonathan Fager, he went on a family holiday yesterday. He drove 4 hours to join the rest of the family, took his bike, took his turbo, took everything with him. The internet signal was not good enough to race, so he's turned around and driven all the way home to compete in the last 2 days of the championships. Probably not popular with the family, well done, but mate. That's commitment to the community, I tell you.
That is serious commitment. Younger Eddie's down in here, still smiling, which is what we want to see. You have to remember, there's a smile there, Andrea Naltha called Barney down the bottom left-hand side there. Everybody aware that they are on this climb, that this is the penultimate stage. Your over hump day, you know, you kind of, it's with the rest day not being in the middle of the championships. I think you've kind of got like 2 middle days almost. You've got a middle day when you're over halfway in terms of days, but then you've got over the rest day as well. So it gives you those little targets on the way through. I'm going to get halfway, I'm going to get to the rest day, and then I've already got 2 days left.
Exactly.
It's
great. One of those days is already underway. Well, Franklin Vergara on the screen at the moment, really doing a phenomenal job pushing on here at the front. And he's got Santeri Quickstrom, the rider in the golden skin suit behind. And this is a day also where I think riders who are not up on GC can have a go. We saw that in the women's race. We saw riders who weren't up on GC, who were a long way down, really targeting the climb and the sprint competitions. And they're going to walk away, or they have walked away today, with those sprint and climb competitions on the stage. So it makes for really interesting racing. And it also, well, it means there's maybe not enough points out there, or a lot of points out there in those 2 competitions. But here today, Ivanov in the polka dots and Warren in the green have pretty much got those competitions sewn up, even though there's still 34 points available in the climb competition and 40 points available in the sprints.
So Ivanov not going from the gun right up at the front of this race with Vergara. And I think that is telling in terms of our overall. Ivanov 13 seconds down of Quickstrom in the GC coming into today. He's right there, and you can see at the moment Quickstrom going over the top of Vergara. Even at the moment at 12 seconds down, losing more time. One man who's quite a long way down again, 19 seconds back, Rademacher, the rider sitting in 2nd place at the moment, 1.5 seconds down on Quickstrom. So Quickstrom here has gone out with an aim of taking not only time, but extending his lead at the top.
This is really interesting for me because these are two very, very different strategies. Michael Rademacher, the defending champion from last year, has slowly worked his way up on GC. He didn't feature the first couple of stages. He kept his powder dry. He's then started to come to the fore. Kickr here is leading from the front. He's pushing hard from the front. Rademacher looking as though he's setting a bit more of his own tempo. It's going to be interesting to see what happens if those two converge or how they play out on the final lap.
Now, Lucas Petter still holding on to his race lead at the top of Category 5. Our next set of riders up and away. 23 seconds back to Pens. 23.554. 25.446 is Spratt. Inside of a minute of the race lead is Kendall. And we're going to see some very close racing, some tactical racing, because the gaps are not huge all the way down through this race field. And again, in terms of our team competition here, I think we could see some big changes. Virtual velocity at nearly 20 minutes to the good at the moment, but that's not something that can't be overcome. The Crankmasters Wushu are here, very close, as are the Brazil squad as well, as are Lone Bikers and BMC. I wouldn't say any of this is over.
Because sometimes I think we focus on who's 1 and 2. Actually, when you take a look at the team competition, it really is who's 2 to 5.
Yes.
Because 2 to 5 could all change today. And let's not forget, it's not just about who's top spot. It is about, can you get up into the top 3? Can you move from 5th to 4th?
Just testing the
How
microphone,
does that play
see if it
out? And there'll be
works.
teams out there with those strategies in play today.
Nice.
Definitely. We're going to see how that's played out as we go into our racing. A great racing in this Category 5.
Yeah.
Santiago Arcila taking away the win on those climbs. It moved him to 9th place in the overall standings, with Lucas Petter leading at Thornton. Really consistent riding by Thornton. He's up there or thereabouts. He has been since day one. And I think going to be really interesting to see what can he do today. Can he really push himself back into contention? He's dropped back his 14 minutes.
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? In the sprint competition, Juan Roas took 7 points yesterday. That was the maximum points tally. But this competition is going to go to the wire in Category 5 because there's only 3 points separating Joel Warren from Roman Mazzaros. In the King of the Mountains competition, it was Nicholas Spratt adding 25 points to his total yesterday. Nobody can touch Spratt. Spratt just has to get the bike across the finish line tomorrow, and he's won that polka dot competition.
Is that going to stop him going for more? No, but is it going to maybe now take a back seat to the overall, where he lies in 3rd place, 25 seconds down on race lead, and only 0.9 of a second behind Pens in 2nd place? I think it will. I think it's now about that overall. Is he going to use those climbing skills to take time and then rest on the downhills? Will he go for a consistent power strategy? Will he be looking for a consistent heart rate strategy?
Who knows?
Where you make time, where you lose time is going to be critical, not just in terms of performance, but because of the course profile. What you can do on those climbs is going to be very critical indeed. We are in with our leader, Lucas Petter, at the moment. This huge bunch of riders in Category 5 coming off from the start line. Plenty of riders not wanting to lose time at the moment. And João Machado is going for his characteristic sprint off the line. Every single day this man has done it. And yes, sir, congratulations. That is the time trial helmet is on.
He's there. Aero.
Yeah, João Almeida, mate, you are just going to take the prize for being inventive, having the bottle to go off the line first every single day and give it big beans. That alone would win you a place in our hearts. But to do it with different things every day as headwear, well done.
It's just be careful when you take that off and put it on the floor. Don't damage it because and keep your eyes peeled on the power. So Machado on the bike and.
Have you dropped a helmet, a time trial helmet? I have.
Well,
yeah, I've broke one dropping it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm just saying, just be careful when you put that on the floor. But at the moment, I'm right on the front of the pack in Category 5. The push is on. Cadabona on your screen at the moment. He's got the fire jersey back on. Currently leading that GCC competition, and he's leading that from Rod Loxley. Having, I was about to say, having extended the gap, but the gap has extended to 54 seconds. So
close.
This is really, really close out here. Matt Lenador is 24 minutes back. So Loxley and Cadabona, absolutely, the GCC competition is, well, still in play.
It is third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Though, well, third, fourth, and fifth could still play that out, I think, and it could change. Let's go across to our Masters competition because Lucas Pedder in the overall lead is leading. Luke Kendall is sitting less than 1 minute behind the Level Anzacs rider, behind the Wahoo Kickr rider in 1 and 2. Justin Roy at 8 minutes. That's not all over, but the way that Pedder and Kendall have been climbing and the way that they're racing, I think I'm struggling to see that lead going unless one of them has a really, really bad day.
Yes, anything is possible, mind you.
True.
In the young rider competition, it is Juan Roas leading that by 21 minutes from Gavescu. So a phenomenal lead he's got in that competition in those white sleeves. In the team competition, Virtual Velocity are leading at the moment from the Crankmasters by 19 minutes. Massive, massive lead that they're going to want to hold on to. But a little bit further back, it's very close on GC. Whoosh, you were here in third place. Well, they are 2 minutes back on the Crankmasters. A further 2.5 minutes back, Road Brazil ZTBR, and a further 2.5 minutes back, BMC 5 Up. Those 4 teams will, well, they'll be watching the finish line today and adding it up quite quickly.
Yep, calculator in your back pocket on your way. Let's see how everybody goes today. Great to have a look in on our screens. Mac Lenador, top left-hand side of your screen. You can see bottom right-hand side, Kevin Mottman's down there. Luke Kendall, top right-hand side, and bottom left-hand side is Alex Lark on the TT bar. So clearly, I think today's a day he's likely to have been looking forward to. And I do think, you know, it's a potential today for a good time trial rider to be out there and put in a great performance. We saw that in the women's race.
Yes, we
great
did.
Performances by good TT riders putting in good TT rides. Sometimes that resulted in wins, sometimes that didn't. But I think this course has been designed in such a way that you don't have to be a pure TT specialist to be competitive. And I think it's really thrown in the mix that actually you can be a good climber and be in the mix. You could be a good ruler and be in the mix. You could be a good TT rider and be in the mix. And you could be a good flatland rider and still actually, because of the way that the sprint competition, get something out of the day.
I know.
And I think that's a really good bit of course design. And I think it really is mixing it up. I'm not saying that a TT specialist won't win, but I think it really is. It's not known as the race of truth for nothing. Okay, let's see how this continues to play out here on the screen as our riders making their way up the climb here. Mac Lenador at the moment has got that banner in his sight, 20th on the road at the moment, but that doesn't mean he's not going to go into the race lead. At the moment, it's Figueira Neto at the front, so the Brazilian leading this out. Cadabona, though, starting to push here. Aravena's gone over Neto into the first position. Remember, there are prizes for whoever can score the most mountain points today on its own. As always, the day's mountain climb, and it looks like Catabona's got those in his sights. He's out of the saddle. Look at the effort on Catabona's face. They all came in together. It's going to be about where they were in the bunch coming in as to where they are coming out in terms of positions over the top of that climb.
Yes, and there's 2 more of those climbs to go in that climbing competition today. Lucas Pedder in the gold jersey, he's a little bit further back down the road. He went through in 5th place there, but now sat behind Brendan Thornton. So Cadabona took 8 points, Aravena took 6, Neto took 4, Gavescu took 3, and Pedder took 2 points in that climbing competition. There's a lot of riders through at the moment, and I'm just taking a look. Sort of 20 seconds on the road is separating the top 14 riders. It's amazing, 20 seconds in one climb from 1st to 14th. It's going to be interesting to see what the rest of the lap does to that when we get to the end of lap 1, purely because, you know, that climb right at the start and that segment really at the start, people really pushing for it.
Yeah, it's kind of compatible, isn't it, on the way through that you go and get that in now. We're just in on the left-hand side here. Santeri Kvikström going along the road at the left-hand side of your screen is leading in the time trial overall.
But they've been through the first sprint checkpoint.
They have.
And I can tell you that Ola Warren might be 50 seconds back on GC, but he has at the moment set the fastest time with 45 riders now having gone through that checkpoint.
Absolutely flying. It's brilliant to see the way that they're riding.
I'll tell you something, there's more riders trying out there as well. The back end of the race field is really going for the sprint, and it's changing as we speak. But Ola Warren still sat in that top spot.
So Warren, Andrade, Budioni, along with Broadbent and De Silva at the moment, but that could all change. I'm not absolutely, no way am I going to say that this is in there. So we're going to keep an eye across all of our race categories, across all of the classifications, and tell you as much as we can. We're going to move across, though, down to our category for a race start. Our riders are just making those last-minute preparations. Aidan Sinclair leading the general classification there at the end of stage 6. The young rider just holding that position at the top of the standings. He's got that by a decent gap at the moment. In theory, if you count 6 seconds as decent, because Panu Analusa has been harrying him all of the way. These two in a real ding-dong battle of their own at the moment, but it's not that far behind to Dominic Bergen in 3rd place, 23 seconds.
Oh, I know.
33 seconds to 4th place, Matteo Pino, who is on good form going into that rest day.
Mika Rusamaki is just at 69 seconds. Jamie Velez is 1 second back on him. I mean,
super close.
Super close out there. When you think we've already done, 5 stages of racing on this 7-day stage race, and we're still coming down to seconds between 5th and 6th in category 4, and the rest of the race field as well.
And of course, today it's not just going to be about what you can do in the race for yourself, but what can you do for your team? What are your team orders today? What's the plan? Are you looking for team time, or are you looking for sprint points? It'd be tricky to find out without knowing, but we may get an indication on the road who's doing what. Now, Batty on your screens as the winner with that number 1 rosette by his name, because he was the stage winner. He took the stage win from Aidan Sinclair by 1 minute and 8 seconds. You can see Analusa harrying him to the line, coming over the line just under 2 seconds behind Sinclair. Sinclair taking the most points in the sprints competition along the way, 8 points of the available points, and Batty 55 in the climbs.
Yeah, Sinclair leading that sprinting competition, by 12 points. There's still 40 points available, so that's not over yet.
Not even
Batty
close.
leading Aidan Sinclair in the climbing competitions by 15 points. There's still 34 points available in that competition. It's a little bit more open, but we will see what happens today.
Category 4, the third of our race categories, heading out on to the race route. So category 4 about to make their way off onto race route. Third category, and we're going on to the last 3 after this. It is time to go racing. It's time to hit the roads of Canada, in Montreal, in the part that will play host to so much racing at the Road World Championships. Well, the MyWhoosh Championships have beaten them to it. They're there first, and they're out on the time trial for a championship race. Who is going to take away top spot?
Oh,
Henry East is harnessing the power. Now, this, for anybody that doesn't know, not all that long ago, but maybe a lifetime for some, a certain Mario Cipollini wore this same skin suit in a time trial, I think at the Tour de France. It wasn't the Giro, it was the Tour de France when he wore this. He got a massive fine for it.
He used to get regular fines for his clothing.
He didn't care. He was the king
of style. It was brilliant.
And it was
just
really
superb.
good. And Henry East is harnessing that. And I think for me, one of the things Cipollini could do, he actually, we got to remember, good sprinters do not necessarily make bad time trial riders. They can put in great time trial rides as well. So can rouleurs. I mean, you just need to look at the time trial put in recently by Mathieu van der Poel in the Tour of Swiss, just going out to play and going, actually, I'm going to take this. This is mine.
Well, talking about taking this, Francis Pino is wearing the GCC competition leader's skin suit. He's He's leading that competition by 4 minutes 37 seconds from Clinton Cirillo. That's close, particularly on a time trial day. So Pino right to the fore of the race here with Restrepo and Bombaccini. This is going to be an interesting race. Noticing Nicholas Arago is up there as well. I have a little bit of information that Nicholas Arago had an extra addition to the family last night. So congratulations to the Arago family. And Nicholas, I'm amazed you are on the bike today. But congratulations to everyone. And I hope your legs are flying in celebration.
Yes, I believe a new little baby boy.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Nicholas, from everybody at MyWhoosh and from all of us here, all two of us here in the commentary box. Well, commentary studio. It's a bit bigger than the box. In fact, here he is. Nicholas, congratulations. Well done, sir. You just got to try and stay focused and potentially awake on the way through the I think good news can sometimes result in a really good race performance, but it does depend on whether he was celebrating hard last night or not.
Well, also, you can have an adrenaline spike and then be on the other side. But whatever happens, Nicholas, congratulations from all of us. Well, the Category 4 race is moving away and moving through. Andrew Rushmer in the Masters skin suit. And again, this is another really close competition. Nelson Schneider, the rider from the USA, 3 minutes 18 seconds back on Rushmer. And you can see he's 2 seconds back. Nelson Schneider, I think today, lap 1 and 2, stay as close to Andrew Rushmer as possible. Lap 3, see how far you can get in front of him. Rushmer has got a real battle today to keep that jersey.
Yep, 100%. Now, Aidan Sinclair is the leader in a number of competitions, but leading in that young riders competition. The youngster who, when he was even younger still, was a World Championship representative. Now the leader in that young riders competition here. We'll see what he can do. He's going to be under pressure today, I think.
He is. The team competition is going to be interesting today. The BMC Anzacs are currently leading the team competition, but after 25 hours of racing, 3 seconds separate them from Pedal Club. Yes, you heard that correctly. 3 seconds. 3.192 to be precise.
That's nothing.
Cycle District 4A are 1 minute 50 back.
Still nothing.
Level Golden 4 are 3 minutes 13 back.
Still nothing.
So the top 4 teams, I think, are still in contention for the win. Cafe de Colombia and Ratio Racing Move, they're in their own battle because they're in 5th and 6th place, but only 53 seconds separate those teams as well.
Indeed. Now, we've just got Niall Bethy, the rider who took the most points in the climbs competition yesterday. He's also leading in the competition overall from Aidan Sinclair. In fact, your 1, 2 are on your screen. Batty in 1 and Sinclair in 2 in that competition. Restrepo in 3 with Pino in 4. Batty, he's just got to keep dialing this. He's going for the big points here today on the climb. If I was Niall Batty, I would be doing some serious recovery between each of these climbs because it's fastest through the segment. He's not worried about overall time like Sinclair is. So in theory, this day could literally be handing Batty the opportunity, if he can grasp it, to take it away. But Niall has to be smart about this as he goes over the top. There's no real advantage. He may be thinking about that overall competition, but for me, I think I'll be looking and going, do you know what? He's on the Pedal Club squad, and I think that does change things a little bit potentially. But given that today he could sew up that competition and make it his, because you've got 0 points in this for Sinclair on this climb. Batty in 1, 8 points. Ala Lucia in 2 with 6 points. Pino in 3 with 4 points. Bergin in 4 with 3 points. And Giuliano in 5th with 2 points. Ala Lucia, second fastest rider up that climb.
Well, I'm just looking. I know I'm playing around here with my screens, but I'm just looking at the first sprint in the Category 6 race that has now been done. Eduardo Sugai, 3:39 back on GC at the moment in that time trial, setting the fastest time. Interestingly, the back of the race field all really, really going for it. David Slabbock picking up the 4 points. I'm looking at this. Nathan Craig put in a sprint as well, and he's currently lying 8th at the moment, fastest through that segment. So the back of the race field playing around and having a great time out there in the sprints.
Yeah, so the Category 5 race is going through that as well. And at the moment, Hugo Lopez, the fastest rider through that time, interestingly slower than Sugai in Category 6 at the moment. The time is really interesting times out there. You can get all the information through at the end of the race from MyWhooshinfo.com and MyWhoosh.com. Our category... I think this is Category 4 riders with one Category 5 in now. Just taking a little bit of a look at all our riders' style today. A lot of riders really going to be working hard today for their overall. Others are going to be focused on their sprints today. Others are focused potentially on the climbs today. Lots of great different shots. I'm loving the shot from through on the, I want to call it a veranda. Of Mika Rusamaki. I've got veranda envy at the moment, but maybe it's not a veranda and it's a room and the window's wide open, but I think it's a veranda. It looks amazing with that view out into the greenery outside, but not everybody with that outside view. Number of riders just having a little bit of a break on the downhill. You just see Rod Loxley not pedaling, just wiping the sweat from his fevered brow.
And dropping his heart rate. Great strategy, great tactic. Category 3 down in the start pen at the moment. And that Category 3 race going to be just as exciting as 4, 5 and 6.
The gap's maybe a little bigger than we see in some of the other race categories, but within, well, only in the spaces that it's like 24 seconds back, then it's a further 14 seconds back, then a further 8 seconds, and then another 8 seconds. But you've still got 5 riders within a minute.
You've got 17 riders within 2 minutes 17 on GC.
But you haven't got the top 2 within 1 or 2 seconds of each other. And I think it's going to take big rides to move positions now, rather than maybe you can sneak 3 positions with maybe a 5-second better ride where people are packed in. The gaps are quite consistent through here in those spaces, and the further back through the field you get, the bigger the gaps go. It's been I think Category 3 has been one of our great races, and I've in some of our stages, and I'm going to say that now, it's in some of our stages. Category 3 have sat together and been very tactical, not spectacular, whereas some of the races have been spectacular. And I think today, this is the day where the riders have to pull out something spectacular today because of the way those gaps are in that general classification.
Yes, it is indeed. And talking about that, you can see right the way through that classification. And yesterday's stage was another fabulous race. And Manarelli pushed away on that final climb and went 17 seconds clear of Matteo Corrales. Rune Bakken has been really consistent, actually, once the climbing has started. And he's been putting in some great performances as well. Manarelli picked up those points in the sprint competition. It brings him closer to Mason Rocker, who's lying in second overall. Christopher Morgan, though, 61 points. That puts him, 16 points clear at the moment in that competition. 40 still to play for.
Well, given the propensity of riders like Carlos Manarelli and Christopher Morgan to go solo off the front of the bunch today could well suit them. They're used to riding into the wind. They're used to riding off the front. Can Manarelli overturn that 38-second disadvantage over Corrales by riding alone today? They're up, they're away, they're off from our race start in Category 3, and this is going to be key. Hovering around the top 3, Christian Montoya, defending champion, could well pull out something special. Podium's got to be a target. It's 44 seconds down on the race lead. Bakken has been super consistent here as well, but getting the strategy right as our home rider goes out on the streets of Montreal. Samuel Josh on the move. If anyone knows if these are Samuel Josh's home roads, let me know. Does he reside
very big.
in? It is, but you never know. There's a chance. There is a chance that Samuel Josh has indeed ridden in the park here in Montreal, in Canada, in these very roads, and on these very roads in the park. I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. And
I do know someone for when the World Championships was in Richmond.
Yes, actually, yeah.
And Peter Sagan attacked. Her house literally was at that point on the road.
Yes, and then rode the very same point before on Cycling Esports. We will see how that plays out later. Will we find out whether our Canadians are riding on home roads? Well, hopefully so. Get in touch with us on the live chat on YouTube, and we'll let the rest of the world know. Dorvan K. Ellis, our GCC leader at the moment, tucked into this pack. Interestingly, Manarelli only about 4 places in front of him. And do not be fooled if riders at the moment on the first time up this climb are further back, because they may be employing the strategy of not going too fast, too hard, too deep, too soon, because what you will find is you're in trouble later.
Well, Antti Ponni, the rider in the Masters competition, that's the one with the blue sleeves. He is doing a great job out there. He's 1 minute 16 seconds clear of Martin Condit in second place. They are 20 minutes clear of third. So it really is, I think, going to come down to those 2 riders. The youth competition, Fabio Hallhorst is in that white sleeved skin suit. He's leading that competition by, are you ready for this?
Go on.
19 seconds. Yeah, I know, it's so close. And I'll tell you something, third place, Ponzi, is 59 seconds back. So Fabio Hallhorst, Junyu Lin and Diego Ponzi, those 3 riders within a minute of each other in that young riders competition.
And Hallhorst and Yulin teammates on that Peak Power Racing 3B squad as well.
So Hallhorst also,
let the road decide for
Hallhorst also has a decision to make here, because does he defend the young riders jersey? Does he go for the King of the Mountains? Because he's also lying second in that King of the Mountains competition. Carlos Manarelli has 109 points. Hallhorst is 17 points back. Manarelli just really needs to continue picking up points. I'm not sure it really matters how many, as long as he picks up points. There are, in that climbing competition, left 34 points.
This first climb, if you've come through at the front of the group, you've got to be off the front of the group. If you come through at the back of the group, you could work your way to the front and still take this. Watts is on the front here. Adar is up here. Morgan making a move as well by the look of it. Ramirez, Wojciech in there. And there's a real smorgasbord of riders in our Category 3 race. Good to see everybody. Patrick Karlstrom on a bit of a chilled ride by the look of it at the moment. I suspect maybe just going to go for some of those sprints a little bit later on, or maybe just deciding, you know what, this is rest day part 2.
Well, who knows, but he's in the mix and he is here. Jean Nicki right at the other end of your screen. Ivo Sur, Franklin Almeida, Felipe Santos is there, Christian Montoya is there. You've got riders sat down tapping a rhythm, riders up and out of the saddle, really giving it large. There's a MyWhoosh water bottle right. The colour scheme, Patrick, is superb.
Match,
the blue jersey, the blue on the MyWhoosh bottle, and I think there's some blue energy also going on in that world.
And I think it's great that it matches his national kit being from Finland, which is a white and blue flag. Right up at the front, Ergerton Adar putting the big kick in now to try and get that time gap there. He's got it on Corrales. This is interesting because this is a run for points. Adar, third place in that climbs competition on 58 points. He's looking to maximize the points. Manarelli leading the points competition at the moment, not looking like he's going to set a fast time up here, but this is about where you come in at the finish. And we know Manarelli started this climb a long way down through this group. Not that it's going to help charging into the draft of a rider, because there is no draft. Off. No, it has gone. So we're going to let that update a little, I think, because I think we're going to see some riders moving through. At the moment, it's Adar, Shakila, Brooke, Evanoff, and Morgan. And it may be that Manarelli has decided to go for the TT strategy of constant power. And he's allowed himself to lose time here with a view that he's going to take it back on the flat and on those descents. So,
it's going to be so exciting.
Time trial. What do you mean it's going to be? It is.
It is. Yeah, that's true. It is.
In the present, never mind just in the future. Definitely. We are going to see this race unfold in front of our eyes. Jakub Wojciech. Now, I'm going to put out a big shout now to Jakub, absolute superstar. Every conversation I have with somebody about Jakub, and we do sing his praises a lot, I know, on the show, but that's for a very good reason. He is one of those people who cannot do enough to help others. He is an absolute star. And I've got to say a massive, massive thank you. He has made it slightly easier for us, which is a monumental task in itself to bring you all of these results. And we've been working with him really closely over the course of the championship every single day. A big, big thank you to him. And of course, thank you to him for his help, of course, with the podcast as well. All the information on there. So do go on and support MyWhoosh info.
Well, category 6 on the left-hand side of your screen at the 20.5 kilometre marker. They're up and over the climb for the second time and well and truly out onto lap 2. Santeri Krickström, the rider in the leader's skin suit, is doing an absolutely phenomenal job out there. 47 seconds ahead of Dylan Kennett, 57 seconds ahead of Jonathan Fager. Michael Rademacher is also out there towards the top. Ivanov, Montoya and Holtz, the top 7 riders at the moment in category 6. Pretty much halfway.
It is, and well, yes, it's. I was just keeping an eye on how this racing is unfolding at the moment. Eric Vovoda with the fastest time up the climb of 5:19 from category 6 on the second time up the Chameleon Hood, the climb here today in Montreal. So doing a really, really good job, Vovoda. Faster up the climb, not faster on the road though than Fickstrom. Okay, let's dive across to category 2 because our category 2 race evolved once again out on the road. Now, Mr. X100 still leading with Nathan Guerra at 10 seconds, Peter Milostic at 39 seconds. It's only 3 seconds back then to David Nitko, and it's 1 minute back for Ziad, 1:05 for SS. On a course like this, he's going to be taking time, surely. And we've got Mayer, Damsgaard, Mitchell, Stewart, previous stage winner Stuart Miller in here. Turmerton's just outside the top 11, top 10. I think here there's going to be some really, really interesting racing with riders keeping an eye on the overall as well as on the team competition and on those points competitions on the way through as well. Really, really hard one to work out who's going for what here. I think the riders like X100, like Guerra, like Milostic, Nitko, Ziad, anyone inside that top 20 potentially really has to focus, and in the top of the team's competition has to focus on that time today. And the points in some of the competitions are a little bit immaterial and more immaterial, and some will come to that in a second. Julian Hertz, our Lanterne Rouge, doing a great job here. We've seen him on the attack, we've seen him in the racing, and he's still in the mix as well. Let's move across to our stage results for yesterday. Great stage yesterday. Not yesterday, 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
I'm having days disappear from my life very quickly at the minute.
Well, Guerra taking the win and ahead of Peter Milostic, X100 in 3. Those 3 riders really setting themselves up. Machado taking 10 points in that sprint competition, but that was an interesting one because he's lying in 3rd, 5 points behind Hertz. But Vidal Mayer, well, he is 25 points clear in that sprint competition, 40 points still available.
Doable.
Oh, it is doable on paper. Is it really doable? SS has been picking up those points in that climbing competition. He is so far clear. I don't think anybody can catch him. And behind him sits Ivan Nuki, his teammate. The gap now 70 points. There's only 34 points available. It's wrapped up. It's done. He doesn't need to do a thing. He can focus on the team competition because the team competition is where it is at in category 2. The UAE clan team are leading the team competition, but by 1 minute 28 from the Goats, 3 minutes 25 from Team Balbina, and 4 minutes 34 from the Peloton Phantoms. I think there's still 4 teams in this, and I think it's all to play today.
Yeah, I think going for points in any of those 4 teams would be crazy in the sprints or in the climbs competition because it's so close at the top.
Well, also close, let me tell you, is between Team 7 and Team 8. There is 1 second separating those 2 teams. And of course, the team prizes go back to 7th. So again, that's going to be a bit of a battle out there today.
100%, 24 hours, 48 minutes of riding. And then it's down to the seconds between Votapand and Ali Omi. I mean, it's nothing, you know, to do all of that racing, You know, the team time is over a day's solid racing, and yet you've got it separated by a second.
Well, I'm loving the fact Matic Mendakowicz is on the front here because we know he's a rider who likes a hard race, so riding from the front today. Leading the GCC competition, well, it's one of those jerseys underneath the golden jersey because that is X100. He's leading it from his teammate SS by 1 minute 5 seconds. He's also leading the Masters competition by 10 seconds from Nathan Guerra and
That's doing a run and run.
39 seconds from Peter Milostic.
And they are the top 3 overall. So this really is where that Masters competition and the GC competition are there to be had. They are racing for the same thing at the same time. You get the lead in one, you're taking the lead in the other. Hold the lead in one, you're holding the lead in the other, because it is so time-based. We're just in, though, with our young rider, Milan Termerton. And was I right in thinking I saw some great stats that have just come out from Milan Termerton about his improvements as a rider?
Yeah, I think the phrase coaching works. But Milan Termerton, yes, he, for the Peloton Phantoms, is currently leading the youth competition. He's leading it by 2 minutes 27 seconds from Gal Yazbek, and Yazbek, his teammate on that squad. Rodrigo Cumbra, he is 7 minutes back in that competition. So Termerton, what a great race. Dorvin Nitko on your screens at the moment, right at the front of this one.
He's right in this front group. They're just chasing Nikolai Damsgaard, who's got a second's lead. And I think there's a degree here. There's 2 races going on. There's the racing to be at the front of the race, putting in the effort, because whilst it is a time trial, you can see where you are relative to everybody else. And as you said in the women's show, Emma, you only need to be in front of everybody else at the finish if that's what you want, is the stage win. The rest of the time is immaterial. It's just about getting yourself across the line in first place at the finish. And in terms of keeping it simple, sometimes the simplest way, if you think you've got the match of all the other riders on the climb and on the descent and on the flat, and you've got the ability to take it to the end of the race, I actually think there's something to be said for just riding with them. And then when they push, you push harder. And you show them who's boss. You know, you literally boss, and it's a bit of psychological game playing. You know, but you know, whilst I don't advocate bullying anybody, when you're on the bike and you're racing, if you can put in a few psychological blows into them every time they push, you go. You know, if they go hard, you go harder. That's a great way to do it. SS on the move at the front of this race. We know he's already got the climbs competition sewn up, but look who's going with him as well, gaining time on the climb.
Yeah.
His teammate Ivan Nuki, who will be loving this ascent at the moment. Now, I've got a theory for you. Team competition. I'm going to throw this out there now. I'm hoping I'm not spoiling any tactics here by doing so. So don't listen if you're in the team competition in this race. How about throw SS up the road with Ivan Nuki on his wheel, get a good time gap, break away, encourage each other on. You're not going to be helping each other physically, but you are mentally. Go hard and break the spirit of everybody else. But importantly, get a big time gap on everyone else. Because if you think you've got riders who can go hard on this distance, why hold back? Why not try and get a time gap now? You know, to put it in now and then try and hold it to the finish instead of waiting and waiting and waiting.
Oh, wow.
And do it as a 2 teammates together. You've got that support. Yeah, you might take one rider with you, but, you know, it's just about that fight. And I think maybe that's what we're seeing, because you can see the moves being made. SS, Nuki, 8 and 6 points respectively. 4 points for Damsgaard, 3 for Stewart, and 2 for Guerra at the moment. That overall battle, I'm just waiting for the rider in 3rd place overall to come through. Peter Milostic going over the top there. He's given away 10 seconds to SS over the top. Interesting.
But that's 2 kilometers of racing. We have 40.1k to the finish line today, and the category 2 race on the right hand side of your screen. Nathan Guerin now starting to move up through the field, not having quite a fast start as the others, coming through there in what looks to be 7 seconds back on SS, so not quite pushing as strong and holding as we see Kvikström come through the finish line to go out onto his final lap. So 2 laps from Santiago Terry Crickstrom. 45 minutes of racing, going past the Category 1 race field, who have not started their race yet.
Indeed not. So he probably will see them coming past him on this climb, given the amount of time it takes to go up the climb. So a mix of Category 2 and 3 riders making their way up on to the climb, doing an amazing job here today. Certainly looking good as they head out on to a race route. Let's see who's going to take this out.
Well, Cat 3 have been doing a sterling job out here as we continue to push on. So Category 3 going through the sprint, Category 3 pushing on as well. But Category 2, what a job they're doing out here. They've 6 minutes 45 of racing so far as it continues to push on. The pack moving and moving strongly. It's such a strong group here, and one big line of riders down the road. It is a really big race here, and Damsgaard now on the front, going through and past SS. Mendakowicz is there, Nitko is there, Stewart is there. The race continuing to push on, but now it's Nikolai Damsgaard who's taken to the front. It's Maciej Mendakowicz who's decided that he needs to pay close attention. Mendakowicz here in Category 2, choosing to push on, choosing to make this hard today. And Mendakowicz is the type of rider that I would expect to be doing exactly what he's doing. He's following Damsgaard. The two of them at the front of the race now. SS, Nitko, Stewart, Nuki, Gorzhank, all there. Well, as the Category 2 riders progress out onto the course, with the gap starting to form, Category 1 down in the start pen at the moment, and you can see them, the legs are turning. They've got 2 minutes till they go.
So 2 minutes to see whether Jason Osborne can time trial his way to victory once again. He's been absolutely indomitable so far. The time gap, 48 seconds back to Jones, 1 minute and 9 back to Van Elst, teammate of Osborne. But the battle, I think, here is team competition again. For me, this is team, and more team competitions today. A lot of these competitions here. The final boss is 3 minutes ahead of the Space Cowboys team, 10 minutes ahead of the Zero Ducks Racing team. ZDR2 at 11:46. Venga Boys at 13 minutes. Not huge time gaps at the front of this race in the team competition, but individually, this is Osborne's now to lose.
Well, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? I think Zero Duck, ZDR2 and the Venga Boys are going to be having a battle out there for 3rd, 4th and 5th in that team competition. The individual competition, 48 seconds separating Ollie Jones from Jason Osborne. Osborne took it from Jones yesterday. It was really, really close yesterday on the final stage. Stefan Van Elst in 3rd place. Jasper Paradiens took the points in that sprint competition. He's currently leading Ollie Jones by 9 points with the 40 points still on offer. And Osborne took the points in the King of the Mountains competition. Nobody can touch him in that. He is 63 points clear of Ruben Dunt and only 34 points available.
So as we see some more of our category riders coming through alongside Category 1, the Category 1 getting ready to head out onto race route, 40.1 kilometers in front of our riders. There is 741 meters of elevation to climb, 3 laps here in Montreal, in Canada, on MyWhoosh. It's time to get the last wave of riders away on a penultimate stage of the championships for 2026. Let's go racing in Category 1. Who today can be the boss of the time trial? Who is going to press the button on that clock as they come over the line, as we would then wait to see who is losing time and who is gaining time? Neil Fryatt, who can put in a great sprint, has gone out from the blocks quick here on the start of our Category 1 race. And I tell you something, he's already opened up a gap, a second's gap here. I'm quite shocked to see this, but Pucker also pushing on here. Now, the one thing is you do need to race to your strengths. If you've got a good kick, you can give yourself 3-4 seconds on the run into a climb. If you're not going to go as well on the climb, then you're going to be there. I'm really interested to see how these two do, because although both riders from the United States of America, they are different in styles. I think Fryer he's got a great kick on him.
Well, I think
whereas Pucker's got big power.
Well, I think they both have big power, and I think that's what makes Neil Fryatt such a great sprinter. It's the question as to whether how long he can hold that power for. Well, Jason Osborne in the Golden Leaders jersey, Panizza, Van Elst, Dont, Skierski, Fryatt, Pavel Skierski wearing the white sleeves of the Young Riders competition here. He's been putting in a great performance, and I'll tell you someone else who's been putting in a great performance in that Young Riders competition is Lyndon Milostic. The two of them have been having a real battle. It's just 22 seconds that separates Pavel Skierski on stage 6 from Lyndon Milostic in that Young Riders competition.
Yeah, that I think is going to come down to the wire. I think that's going to come down to the last stage in Category 1 as Pucker continues to push on the front. We're just going to go right-hand side of your screens to Category 6 because at the top of the climb, you can see at the moment, amazing right here by Santeri Quickstrom. He's gone over the climb for the third time. Yep, 5 minutes 24 his time of the climb. That time around, he's currently got 51 minutes on the clock. He's on a good ride here.
He is, and he's 120 up on his nearest competitor in that Category 6 race. Well, Jason Osborne comes to the front at the 1.2 kilometre marker here. There's a chain of Category 1 riders all the way back down the mountainside. Puckett in 2, Jones in 3, Skierski in 4. That's 3 of the final bosses in the top 4 at the moment. This is going to be a really, really interesting 40.1 kilometres out there in Category 1. This is Category 2, and we've just gone through the first sprint checkpoint in terms of lap number 1 for them. And you can see a group of riders forming at the front. Trojanowski taking 5 points at the moment, I say, because this is a sprint. And you can see, there you go, Phil Graves now comes through and picks up a faster time. And that's what's going to happen all the way through this Category 2 field, I think, because we've only got 14 riders over the line. So I think this won't be the final state of play. But at the moment, Graves setting the fastest time through the sprint, Trojanowski in 2, Mendakowicz in 3, Bjorklund in 4, X100 in 5, as Rodrigo Coimbra and Mikel Machedo come up over the top of Phil Graves.
It's a perfect example of why this fastest through the segment, it encourages people who maybe are not on the very front of the race, not leading and contesting the very first over the line, but fastest through the segment gives them this chance to actually come and challenge and take this on. And that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, we are indeed. And we drop back in with the Category 1 race as they come up to the top of the climb. And you can see there's not a huge gap between people at the moment. Osborne, Van Elst, Jones, Vujasin and Pucker all up to the front of the group here. We're going in with Ollie Jones. He's up and out of the saddle on those pedals here, holding strong watts at 540, so 570 watts here. The 4 of them looking like they're starting to pull away from Pavel Skierski. Dont, Pucker, Andreas and Turek, they're all behind. But it's a 4:14 for Jason Osborne up there. That's a lot slower than we saw in Category 2. Oh, sorry.
Sure
she said it's a 3:36. It's a 4:14 total time.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I just need to read the right spot of the screen.
It's
so
okay.
it's a 3:36 for Jason Osborne. It was a 3:54 for SS. Jason Osborne setting a much faster time up there.
I've got a good
but
one.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Line of Vujasin was quicker.
Yes, Lionel Vujasin faster up there, starting off further back in that race field and then accelerating his way up through. He comes through. It's only 0.2 of a second quicker, but do you know what? It counts.
Because he's a space cowboy.
Do you remember my song going in my head again? In fact, here he is. Here's the return of the Space Cowboy. It is Lionel Vujasin. He might not have the same hat, but he's got the headband on and he's out of the saddle. Here is today going to be the day that Vujasin's experience is going to tell for him out on course. Interesting riding. I'm just going to go back to that time thing that you talked about there. Some really interesting times out there on that first climb, because we saw SS set that fastest leading time, as you said, in Category 2, 3:54. Ivan Nuki, a 3:55. The next fastest rider to them, Ergutan Adar, in category 3, a 3:58.
But he's battling for the climbing competition overall in category 3, and hence it really is a target for him today.
Exactly. It's so graphically demonstrated by the stats, by the numbers, and don't forget you can get all of the details in there from MyWhoosh info.
Well, the gap's now starting to open in this time trial in the category 1 race. We've got Osborne, Skierski, Jones, Van Elst, Dont, Vu Yassin, and Pucker. Those 7 riders looking as though they could be going clear here. Great start from them. We're 6 minutes in here, and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Turek just trying to use the downhill to drop his heart rate a little bit. There he is. We're going to drop in with him. Another strong rider who's used to multi-day racing.
Yeah, going to be really, really important to have got your recovery right, your rest day right, whatever that involves, whether that's going out riding, whether it was racing on Sunday Race Club or whether that was coming out and riding here. We've seen a number of people using different tactics, different things. We've seen some of our riders in cryotherapy, looking like they're going something out of sci-fi movie. We've got people with ice socks on. We've got loads of different ways of people have been out recovering. Some people have been driving up and down the motorway to go to the family holiday and then deciding to come back again. All these different tactics at play to get that to use their time wisely between the 2 stages. We're in with Rick Van Erck. Rick Van Erck on a downhill as we go into him. Rick having a very good championship.
He's still smiling and still laughing with us on stage 6. What can I say? But what a star, Rick Van Erck, and he is the national champion of the Netherlands in terms of esports, and he is a great character.
He is. I think we've got a hit list of people, not just in category 1 on the podcast, and I know we featured a lot of category 1 riders. That's because they are the fastest riders in the championship. But I expect on that podcast to spread out a bit as we start to dive in with some of our real characters. But we're not going to neglect category 1. And I think Rick is high on the list of people that we need to talk to.
Cahill Kaminski on your screen at the moment. He is doing a phenomenal job. He's got Niall Pedersen in sight, Bjorn Andreasen in sight. A steadier start from Kaminski here today. Part and parcel of the teams in the mix, the Alpha Jaw Space Cowboys going up in that team competition against the final bosses. It's just 3 minutes 10 seconds separating them, and I think this is going to be really interesting today because this is about the time of your top 3 riders in your team in the time trial. It could all change out there. Well, Ricardo Panizza currently sat in 15th place, just behind Kaminski and Milostic. Nice riding from him. This is all about individual pacing, individual time, and I think Panizza could put in a good performance here.
Yep. But I think we need to qualify good in category 1, maybe more harshly than we do in the other categories here today.
Do you think?
Yeah, I do. They're the best of the best. They're the best of the best. There is no limit. This is about, there's some serious money at stake. There's reputations at stake. They're professional riders. Most of the riders up there, they're riders who have shown that they're amazing riders. And, no disrespect to them if they come in last place in category 1, they're still best, better than anybody else out there. But I think we've got to be quite harsh that, there's no second chances. This is the major stage.
Well, talking about major stage, this is category 5. They're at the 28.4 kilometre marker. They're coming to the top of the climb for the 3rd and final time. They're continuing to push here. Rod Loxley is the rider we're in with on your screen. He's battling it out here. He's currently sat in 5th place. Daniel Kuntz is there. Luke Kendall is just behind them. So is Cadabona. Just ahead of them are Silla, who took the stage in the mountains. Spratt is 14 seconds up the road. Petter and Pens, they are battling it out at the top for the GC, and they are right up front here. We drop in with Luke Kendall. He's on your screen at the moment. It's a big race out there, and they are into their final lap.
They're fast approaching that summit that comes at 28.8k, so only 150 meters, but we know that this 150 meters are tough. There is the climb here. Petter, Pence, Asilla, and Spratt all in contention. Loxley is not out of this either. I mean, had seen Loxley right in the midst at the moment, just now having to work hard here to stay with this group as they come up on to the summit of the climb here. Loxley's lying in 7th place overall. Petter's lying in top spot overall, and Petter on this run in, he's looking to take away the fastest time. I'm not sure he's going to do that. There are people charging up behind him as well. That he went in with the lead, but he's also got that eye on that overall prize, that golden jersey.
Yes, he has indeed, as he goes underneath. Asilla as well. So do Spratt and Cadabona. They too go under. Loxley, Kendall, Kunzer all going through underneath that banner. They'll be looking at picking up points in that competition and moving towards the finish for the time trial. At the 28.8 kilometre marker, they've got the one sprint checkpoint at 34.5 before the 5.5K run to the finish line. At the moment, in terms of that climbing competition, Cadabona is going to take 8 points, Asilla 6, Loxley 4, Kendall 3, and Petter 2. The Category 6 teams are out there as well. They are much further up the road. The climbing point at Kickr had 1 minute 10 seconds on the group. It was absolutely outstanding. It's going to be interesting to see what he has as he comes towards the finish line, because he's just gone through the final sprint checkpoint at the 34.5 kilometre marker. The Category 1 pack have just gone through the first sprint checkpoint at the 8 kilometre marker, and at the moment Ruben Dont 5 points, Hayden Pucker. I was about to say, as I'm reading it, it's changing. Ruben Dont 5 points, Neil Fryatt 4 points, Hayden Pucker 3 points, Pavel Skierski 2, Ollie Jones 1.
These points are going to change very much as this goes through. Jesper Paradines, the sprint leader, though, coming through. Paradines a little bit backed off the pace in terms of the overall time trial, but you can see how hard he was working there. He should go through into top spot. He does go, and he goes by some margin, 12.91 seconds for the 200 meters. It's 15 point some seconds for our rider now in second place. Big gap, and that should be top spot secured for Paradines in that sprint.
Well,
in that sprint itself.
Talking about big gaps, Kickr at that final sprint checkpoint has 1 minute 27 seconds on Fager, 1 minute 33 on Ivanov, and 1 minute 48 on Rademacher. Santeri Kickr is riding himself into the overall GC lead with a great gap in Category 6. In Category 1, Jason Osborne is starting to establish that gap, but Dont and Pucker, Jones and Skierski are still not far behind.
And I think this is one of the things that we've got to bear in mind, that if they're all going at a similar pace, when they're in a bunch, they kick hard to get the gap and they establish it, and then they can set a time trial pace, or they sit it in a comfortable pace, maybe with one or two other riders or on your own. It's very different than just trying to eke out a gap where everybody can see you and nobody has that draft advantage. Because what we don't know, we see Osborne kick off the front and go clear very often in races, but he's been saving energy to that point. And if he's not saving that energy to that point, has he still got that big kick? We'll have to wait to find out. Let's go dive back in a little bit further ahead en route, but in with Category 2 at the moment, because we're on the climb here, going back up the Chameleon Hood, the climb here in Montreal. And at the moment, we're at the 15.1 kilometer marker. We're only about, 350 meters off the finishing line or so. And at the moment, you can see that David Nitko is chasing Milostic and SS. Behind him, Damsgaard, Zigard, Guerra, and X100 are there. And I tell you something, Guerra and X100 are absolutely locked together. 1 and 2 on GC are side by side on the climb. They are literally climbing pretty much as a duo. Guerra pushes on now towards the top. You've got him on your screens in person and in avatar form. He's looking to try and break the gaps at X100 so that he can try and put some time in by accelerating at the top of this climb. X100 is not panicking. He's responded and he's with him. The two riders are battling it out, and that is for the overall race lead playing out. They're chasing Damsgaard, who's just gone through. Guerri's going to go through, but look who's behind. It's the golden jersey with the yellow wheels on the Colnago time trial bike, and he's gone over the top here, over the top of the climb. Guerri's back to 4.2. And are we going to see X100 now? We are 7 watts per kilo. And look at that. X100 hadn't panicked when Guerra had gone to the front, and now he's put the counter-attack punch in. He's gone hard, and he's going hard again. Are we seeing the overall leader making this decisive into the descent? The climb times are up with the points, but I tell you something, the GC, that was looking like Guerra really on the offensive, but then Mr. X100 responded, and at the moment, Guerra is just dropping back a few seconds.
Well, Peter Milostic is 10 seconds up the road. Milostic is at 39 seconds on GC in third place. He's 29 seconds down on Guerra, 39 seconds down on X100, and he's up the road ahead of them both at the moment. It's going to be a really, really interesting. They're only at the 16.1 kilometre marker. They're not halfway yet.
Yep, and he's more than halfway to the nearest rider in front of him. So,
well, the question is, who's aiming for a negative split today?
Oh, you're getting all technical again, aren't you?
Nothing wrong with that.
Definitely not. Thank you very much for watching our stage here today on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel or Twitch TV, wherever you are watching. It is the MyWhoosh Championships. Our riders on the time trial, just get some recovery in for a number of our riders. No draft for our riders out on race route today. These are all individual efforts by these riders, and we're seeing another great individual effort on the front at the moment, because we are on the climb here in category 4, the 28-kilometer marker, the last ascent of the day. Now, Aidan Sinclair came in with the race lead. Bergin is right on his heels here in category 4. Bergin sitting in third place from Switzerland. No shortage of climbs there. Riding for the Café de Colombia squad, infamous for their climbing abilities. And of course, within 23 seconds of Sinclair. But Panu Analusa, the rider in second place overall coming in today, is the rider in third place at 6 seconds. Top 3 in the time trial, top 3 on the race, but not in the normal order.
Well, this is interesting because this is the final lap for Category 6, and we're seeing the Category 1 riders come towards the end of their first lap. But Santeri Krickström, the rider from Finland, is going to come through and up and over the line. He is 400 meters from the line. He's got to get to the top of that rise and then up and over to the banner. The gap back to Jonathan Fager, who is in second place. Look at that. It's nearly a kilometer. Krickström has just put in a phenomenal time trial in terms of the Category 6 performance. He's up onto the climb. He's going to spot the UCI banner. The times are fluctuating because of the climbing, the flatlands and the descents and how it's all playing out with the computer system, but you'll get a dead cert line time on the line.
And just watch behind Rademacher in danger of being overtaken by Fager. Fager's on a good ride. He might be behind Krickström, who's extending his lead, but we need to keep an eye on the clock. Rademacher is in danger of dropping from second place, the defending champion, and Ivanov is not safe either at 30 seconds. Ivanov could be finding himself in trouble, but I think he's got enough. Krickström on his way to the line. He came in with a 1 and a half second lead. Here he comes.
Yes, Krickström comes through for the end of the individual time trial. He's going to set the fastest time out there in Category 6. It's a 1:09 for Santeri Krickström. What a ride, what a race, what a time trial. When every second counts, he's put the seconds in.
Now the battle is going to unfold behind Jonathan Fager, the rider with that purple jersey. You heard at the start of the show, he went on the family holiday. He drove all the way down, and then guess what? He drove all the way back again because he couldn't guarantee he was going to be able to race with a good enough signal to get himself into the game. He's got himself not only into the game, he could be riding himself up into a third place on GC. Zimiel is not even on our leaderboard on the road. Never mind coming through to the finish, and he was in front of Fager. So was Montoya. He's just behind, but just behind is 1:16 behind Fager, and Jonathan Fager was only 8 seconds behind Montoya. He was sitting 50 seconds behind Zimiel. He was behind Ivanov, but Fager is moving himself up into a potential podium position at the end of this stage. He had his hair dyed like Tadej. It didn't work that day, but my goodness, it's working today.
It is indeed, as Jonathan Fager sees the line. He buries himself on the bike. He pushes for every single second. He gets up and out the saddle and he kicks. He sits back down and gulps the air, but he's going to come across the line in second place today. Has he done enough? Well, only time will tell, but he's given it absolutely everything today.
So it's going to be a second place on the stage for Jonathan Fager. Emil Ivanov going over the line immediately behind him to take third place there. 4 seconds. The gap's fluctuating up and down on the run in towards the line. And it's super, super close, actually. Really interesting. The watts from these riders, and bearing in mind, obviously, they're all slightly different weights up the riders, which takes effect. 290 watts for Fager, 292 for Ivanov, 297 for Quickstrom across that race. I mean, absolutely, this is category 6. That shows you how tough this racing is on MyWhoosh. Category 6. They are not the base category of racers. These are the top level racers racing across all 6 categories. So just to get to category 6 is an achievement in itself.
Yeah, category 6 in the men's racing is not an entry to racing category by any standards. It seriously is a hard level. Category 2 on the left-hand side of your screen, Nico Milostic, SSX100, Damsgaard. Those 5 riders moving clear of the field. Category 1 on the right-hand side of your screen, and I tell you something, it's a group of riders at the moment at the 15-kilometre marker. They're coming to the top of the climb on lap number 2, and Osborne, Dont and Jones are all still together. Stefan van Els, Pavel Skierski, within 10 seconds of the group at the moment. Hayden Pucker doing a brilliant ride and race today. Lying in 10th on GC at the moment, in 6th at the moment in this individual time trial. And Lionel Vujasin is another rider doing a fabulous performance here. He's got Thrall and Fryatt, well, they are within sight of him, but at the moment, Vujasin for those Space Cowboys on a really, really great ride.
So the riders continue to push their way around this course in all of our categories. 9 riders now, 11 riders having come across the line in the category 6 race. Christian Fager, along with Ivanov, Rademacher, and Holtz, your top 5 in terms of the overall. Quickstrom still leading from Ivanov, Rademacher just holding on to keep hold of that podium place from Fager. A really strong run into the line from Rademacher. Saw him close that gap back down again. Despite that work, Montoya currently in 5th with Corvette in 6th. All the results at the moment are provisional. Smithson with the top 10 at the moment overall because he's coming across the line. Kreutz is in over the line as well. So there's some really strong riding. The sprints continue to unfold in front of us, and they will continue to evolve until all of our riders are in and across the line. The overall race for the championship is in front of us on category 2, because 4th place on the road is Mr. X100. 8 seconds back is Nathan Guerra, the rider in 2nd place. So that is evolving as well. Top of the climb, second time of asking though, we are seeing the riders coming up over the top in our category 1 race. So you're just seeing them come up over and across the line here. Just looking at the times for that second climb overall, really interesting the way that's been playing out in our categories. Jones, the fastest rider up there, ahead of Osborne in terms of climbing time on the second of our climbs. And I stand to be corrected, but is that the first time anybody has scored more points in a climb than Jason Osborne in the entire stage race?
Possibly.
I don't think he's been beaten by anybody on a climb.
No, I think you're quite correct, actually. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking you're correct. But that's going to be an interesting one as they go up and out onto lap number 2. The category 1 race, really, really exciting. So Jones right up there, but yeah, Jason Osborne with the fastest time, mind you, to that point, but Ollie Jones the faster climb.
Now, our riders, remember, on the way to our finish from the top of the 3rd ascent of the Camille Hood, are going down through the sprint line at 34.5 kilometers. And at that point, we've had Category 6 come through and come into the finish. Category 5 leader, Gregos Kubiak, has gone in through, but they are now making their way on that last section towards the finishing line in Category 5. Meanwhile, on the way to the top of the climb in Category 3, this is going to be David Watts, who is leading. I'll tell you something, he's 20 seconds up on Jaquila, and he's also up here substantially on Morgan and Skierski.
Yes, it's really interesting, this race here, because Watson and Jaquila are doing a phenomenal job of staying clear of the rest of the pack, over a minute clear. Well, Santiago Asilla, this is interesting because he put in a phenomenal climb the other day to take the stage, and he's doing superbly in terms of this individual time trial. He's got Petter and Pens behind him. They're in the top 3 overall, but Santiago Asilla could be riding himself into a stage win here in the individual time trial. But those 2 riders directly behind him are Petter and Pens, and they are going to be battling for who can take 2nd and 3rd today. They're battling in the overall GC competition, and that battle between them is bringing them up to Santiago's wheel.
It's going to be close as they come to line a little bit further back. Don't miss the facts. We've got Loxley at 11 seconds. We've got Spratt at 20 seconds. Spratt battling for his position in the overall, and Loxley on a good ride here today as well. This is the unfold for the sprint for the line here. This is the run for the line. They're only 100 meters or so from it.
And Junior Pens is pushing on here, but so is Santiago Asilla. Pens goes up and over the top. Is it too early? Has he done enough? Yes, I think he has. Junior Pens is going to take the time trial here in Category 5, but it's close with Asilla and Petter. Loxley and Spratt a little way back. They're not at the line yet. The seconds are going to count, but it's going to be close at the top still as we go in with Rod Loxley as he drives towards the finish line in the individual time trial. He's going to come underneath the banner for 4th place today.
Wow.
Great work out there. Absolutely brilliant time. Daniel Kuntz is going to be the next rider through. He's battling with Nicholas Spratt. They're side by side. Cadabona as well as Petter. The riders, the gaps between these riders in Category 5, so close.
So Leonard Greg Cadabona goes over the line. You can see that how hard it is. Time trials are just so hard. You got to give. If you come over the line and you think you've got anything left, you have not gone hard enough. You've got to empty the tank completely, and that's something that we're going to see time and time again. Now, top 3 riders on the road in our time trial in Category 4 are our top 3 riders overall. They came in with Sinclair leading from Alalucia, followed by Bergin. And I think this race has been ridden in terms of the time trial by these riders as a road race without draft, not as a time trial.
Well, interesting that, and it may well be. And in terms of motivating you, in terms of keeping you on those pedals, in terms of keeping the pressure down, that will be how some people will want to race. Others will want to do it as a time trial. 2 different styles of racing, but, you know, either one working well.
I think the problem is if you go with your strategy and you're not with the people who are challenging you. So if you're Bergen and you're challenging Alalucia and Sinclair, you have that battle, you have that fight up there. And I think if it was me, I'd want to know what was going on. I'm not a strong enough character to be able to sit there and take the pace to set my own pace and trust that my judgment was correct in my strategy. Whereas I'm sure, I mean, you potentially would be. I think this is going to be interesting because I think this is about, if you are a strong enough person, you can sit and use your tactics, your performance. You get the best out of yourself, but you've got to be able to do that. And I'm not sure I'm strong enough to do that. I think when I was in here, I would be wanting to watch because they came in so close together in overall because they're tight at the top coming in.
They're tight at the top coming in. What you've got to remember is the margins between these riders. Well, there's a piece of paper. It is so close. They're so well matched out here. And we've got category 4 on the top of the screen. They're at the hour. Panu Analusa is leading from Aidan Sinclair, Dominic Bergin, but those 3 riders really close together. Pino, Velez, Russamaki, they are all up there. It's just 30 seconds back to 6th place at the moment. Category 3 are on the top right-hand corner of your screen, and David Watts is clear of the rest of the pack at the moment, and it's only Yakila which is in the 30-second boundary mark, so there could well be some shifts on GC today. Category 2, David Nitko, what a ride at the moment here from the rider. He's about to go underneath the banner at the end of lap 2 and go out for his final lap here today. SS, X100, Milostic, Damsgaard, Stewart and Ziad are the riders behind. But what can you say? Great riding from Damsgaard at the moment. And on the right-hand side of your screen, Jason Osborne is clear of the bunch. Well, he's 5 seconds clear of Ruben Dont at the moment. They've just gone under the 21.5 kilometre marker, which is through that second sprint out there on lap number 2. And it is really interesting in terms of the positions at the moment. So Jason Osborne in 1. He's 5 seconds, or was 5 seconds clear at that point on the road of Ruben Dont. He was 7 seconds clear of Ollie Jones, 18 seconds clear of Pavel Skierski, and 18 seconds clear of Stefan Van Elst. I can tell you, the final bosses are riding themselves and cementing themselves in that team competition. But I'll tell you something else. Neil Fryatt and Tom Thrall are having a phenomenal ride out there as well, because the ZDR2 squad are putting riders towards the 4 into the top 10.
Yep, they're doing that on the way in towards the finish here, time and time again, and it's really starting to pay off here. I think we're going to see a very interesting second lap. We've got to get, of course, to that point first. We head out onto lap number 2 as we head in towards our third ascent of the Camille Hood, the climb that takes you through the park here in Montreal. Our category 5 and category 6 leaders are already in through the finishing line. To give you an indication, I think so far, having finished their race, just under 90 riders, 97 riders, Bart van der Dries, the next rider who's just come through the lines, of 97, just shy of 100 riders already having finished their time trial here today of our huge race field across all 6 race categories, and doing an amazing job out on the streets of Montreal at the moment. Our next riders to finish will be that category 4 race field. They're not that far from our finishing line, but all making the way in. And you can see at the moment, Pano Alalucia is looking to take away top spot from our rider immediately in front of him on overall, Aidan Sinclair. Sinclair chasing Alalucia. Bergin at the moment chasing Sinclair. 5 seconds pretty much separating the rider in front and behind Sinclair. And this, the race of truth, where you can't just ride smart and sit in the wheels. You can't take that draft. It's going to be telling today. Matteo Pino on a great ride again. I think if my memory serves me correct, coming into the stage today, it was Pino in 4th place currently, but at the moment just sitting in 4th place in this time trial. Velez, then Oliveira, then Russamaki immediately behind. But this is the run for the line. The gantry is up at the top. Alalucia's got distance here. Panu Alalucia leading. Sinclair is chasing in the gold jersey with the rest underneath. Bergen is not that far off his heels either. But this is going to be Panu Alalucia. What can he do in these last few meters? How much gap can he open? Will it be enough to take the overall lead? Well, it's 7 seconds at the moment, and he's continuing to drive to the line. Aidan Sinclair, the rider behind, not lifting the pace or the power at the moment. So Alalucia, another second. It's now at 9 seconds from Sinclair.
Every second counts as he drives towards the line. He's making it 10 now. Can he make it 11 as he goes underneath the line? He's continuing to push. Yes, he can. Every single second here for Alalusa versus Sinclair is going to be important. There's one more stage to go. Panu Alalusa wins the time trial in category 4. Aidan Sinclair has got to get it across the line. He's continuing to work. He's down on that bike. He's pushing on those pedals. He's trying to get across that line and save every second that he can. This category 4 race is going to come down to the wire.
Has Sinclair done enough to save top spots overall? I think he may have just found himself taken off the top step of the podium. He came in with a gap. Panu Alalusa now leads by 12.344 seconds from Sinclair, and Bergin now is at 51 seconds. Alalusa in the last climb, that last kick to the line, he made it count from there. He had the power to drive on up that climb, and that counted.
Well, at the moment in the category 2 race, this is the top of the climb for the final time. Dorvid Nitko right up the front of the race at the moment. Peter Milostic as well. They're nearly a minute up the road here. Nitko and Milostic. Milostic, I think, is riding himself into the yellow jersey. This is so close. SS and X100. Stewart is there as well. And just how fabulous this racing is. This time trial is really, really starting to shake everything up out there today.
So David Nitko was at 42 seconds to our race leader, Mr. X100. At the moment, he's got about 20 seconds as you go over the top of the climb. Nathan Guerra was at 10 seconds. He's gone backwards, but Peter Milostic was sandwiched between Guerra and Nitko in third place, 39 seconds down on our race leader coming in today. And the gap between X100 and Nitko is hovering round about 15 seconds. So it is going to come down to this last run to the line. It's about how much time can you take on the downhill?
I can tell you exactly where Guerra is. Guerra's lost 65 seconds.
Wow. I didn't expect that today.
Well, it's just, who knew what to expect today? That's all I can say. Phil Graves having a really good race out there. He's just inside the minute from the lead at the moment. So is Damsgaard. But what a race at the moment that we are seeing.
And Nitko's about to get caught by Milostic here in the category 2 race. So Nitko, I think, is going to close down all the time. Sorry, Milostic's going to close down all the time that Nitko had taken on him. And then he's going to be taking some himself. So this is going to be absolutely critical heading out. Left-hand side of your screen, so Jason Osborne on his way towards the line.
He is indeed. He's about to go out onto the final lap here today. And I tell you something, it is not over yet. Ruben Dont, 3 seconds back. Ollie Jones, 6 seconds back. This time trial is really, really close. And I tell you, Ruben Dont is doing a phenomenal race. So is Stefan van Elst. Pavel Skierski is right up there. Tom Thrall and Neil Fryer are right in the mix. Hayden Pucker looks like he's around 38 seconds back as well. Currently sat in 8th place. Dan Turek is in 9th. You know, the final bosses had a plan, I think, coming into today, and that is all of their riders in the top 10. And at the moment, the execution of it is superb.
It is. It is. And I think this is what is so good to see when riders come in and they have a plan, they execute it, they go for it. Now, just seeing Ruben Dont go through underneath the polka dot banner that indicates the start of the climb once again on the left-hand side of your screen. He's at 27 kilometers covered. Further along the road at the 31 kilometer mark, you can just see that we've got the category 2 leaders. But look at this, we're onto the climb. Jason Osborne leading, but look at the gap back to Don. It's only 4 seconds.
I know. This is Ruben Dont, for me, has been one of the riders of the championships. It's been absolutely fabulous to watch him and watch him race. He's literally just taken the MyWhoosh championships by the scruff of the neck and go, right, I'm telling everybody I'm here and I'm going to show them exactly what I can do. And he's really got to grips with this. Jason Osborne in 1 at the moment, 5 seconds up the road. Ruben Dont in 2. This time trial, what a performance. He's on the climb here and continuing to work strongly. Ollie Jones, 7 seconds behind Dont. Stefan Van Elst is 6 seconds behind Jones. So you can see they can all see each other, and that is motivating. It's like a piece of string. You can see the rider in front, and you just want to reel them in. It keeps the motivation there. And every time you think you're going to go, you can look up, you can see the rider, and you go, just another 100 meters.
And these four are all able to do that, because looking back from Jones here, you've got Van Elst just right behind him. You've got Dont looking at Osborne's wheel. Jones will know Dont's just in front of him. They're going to see each other on these long straights. Van Elst will be able to see Osborne. We're looking back from Dont. It's only this sort of roller coaster course profile that will stop that from happening on those long straights. And it's all pushing on really strongly here. They're all trying to get the maximum amount of time. They all know that the team competition is up for grabs as we drop back in with our category 3 riders coming down in or coming up into our finish, because it's an uphill finish here today. Category 3 is going to be absolutely critical here today for the overall. The battle is all about who's going to get to the line first. Corrales was leading coming into this, but he is a long way back on the road and on time now. Remember, the time gaps on the way in are only accurate when they cross the line, as they hit that line. But this ride by Watts is incredibly strong. He's looking for the stage win. His 21st place overall, 6:32 down on our leader is Watts. Behind him, Cahill, though, is nowhere near that far down. He's in 9th place, 1:25 down on the race leader. And Cahill, I think, is the rider who is bidding for the victory. But ahead of him, there are still plenty of riders who could interrupt that could shake this up and could change the destination of that gold skin suit.
Well, every second counts, as we saw with that Alalusa when he came across the line. He gained seconds on the final climb. Watts is driving for the line. This is the win in the time trial in category 3, and it goes to David Watts in 1 hour, 1 minute and 56 seconds. Jaquila's going to come through across the line, and I think that's going to be around, we're going to take a look, but it's around 25 seconds back. But Jaquila pushing on. Skierski is behind. Morgan is 45 seconds back. Jakub Wojciech is having an amazing ride at the moment. He told me his strategy was going to be go with the guys at the front and see how long you can hang on. And hang on he has.
So just doing Maciej Skierski on his way up this climb. Another rider who's not going to trouble the overall. Corrales, Bakken, Manarelli, Montoya, Hjulhorst, all on the way in. This is going to be telling.
It's all about the time that Matteo Corrales can lay down, and he's lifting the pace. He's trying to push on now. He's trying to close this down, and he's trying to salvage his lead on GC at the moment. And if he can't hold on to that golden skin suit, how close can he be? Fabio Hjulhorst now starting to come into the picture a little bit further back as well. He was right towards the top of the category 3 race. Maciej Skierski is about to come through and under the line. He's going to put in a great performance today. Christopher Morgan is the rider behind him, but Skierski comes over the line in category 3. Great racing from him.
I think we're going to see a real mix-up here in terms of positions. Jaquila I don't think he's going to touch Jakub Wojciech. I know it sounds absolutely crazy. 15th place Wojciech was 2:12 down. He could potentially be in the mix here for a podium place here, dependent on where those riders are in that race. Behind Corrales, he's putting in a good ride, but we're not seeing Bakken, Manarelli, Montoya. Hjulhorst is quite close. Kalman, Gallo. The big favourites in category 3 are not there.
Yeah,
they're not there. The big riders who've done the ride so far in this championship, they're not there.
They're not there. But, you know, there are some great rides and some great races
Oh,
being
yeah.
done. There really, really are. So it's going to be interesting to see. And these are more great riders and great races being done out there at the moment, because that is the sprint banner on lap number 3 in the Category 2 race. And take a look who's moving into the top 10. Phil Graves, not surprised about that. Nikolai Damsgaard is up there. Gorjank is up there. Troshanowski is up there. Guerra is 13 seconds back in 11th place at the moment. But you can start to see going through at the moment the fastest times in that sprint competition on lap 3. We've just seen them change again as Graves has gone through, picking up 5 points. Troshanowski puts a good time in, takes 4. Gorjank takes 3. X100 takes 2. Stewart takes 1. Expect sprints from the back of the race field to happen today. So those times may not stand because these are the riders contending the overall. Phil Graves, for me, you know, he was a phenomenal triathlete and a fabulous rider, but he has got his timing really good here. He is one of the riders who has used the strategy of come through the race field.
He's beaten me in a time trial before.
Well,
literally in a 10-mile time trial and a 15. I think he might have, I don't think he's beaten me in a 25-mile time trial, which is the equivalent of this race distance. But he's a very, very class rider on the bike. And I think pacing strategies is where he's going to score. David Nitko, though, oh man, what
it's
a ride.
A great ride. I'm just going to give you an update in Category 3 because Corrales has come over the line. He's managed to salvage the golden jersey by 1.6 seconds.
Yeah.
So the lead in Category 3 going into the final stage, 1.6 seconds on GC between Matteo Corrales and Mikel Yakila. That is going to be a fabulous final stage.
And one of the riders I picked up on the way in here, and that is Manarelli, who I thought could be on a great ride here today. He's had a bad day at the office. He's not over the line yet, and the time check at the sprint, he was nearly 9 minutes down.
Yeah.
And he's not alone in losing a lot of time on this stage where it is against the draft, and you are on your own. You've got to get that pacing correct.
Yeah, you do indeed. And at the moment, getting your pacing correct. Jason Osborne on your screen on the left-hand side at the moment at the 31.9 kilometre marker. On the right-hand side of your screen, it's the Category 2 race. And as we push on here, it's interesting to see the different strategies here. Osborne dropping his heart rate on that descent and utilising that final part of the course where he can probably do so. Dont just 5 seconds back. I tell you, Dont is holding that. Jones 10 seconds back, then Van Elst, Skierski, Frye and Thrall. The time gaps are changing slightly, but the positions aren't at the moment in that Category 1 race. Here in Category 2, they're at the 37 kilometre marker. There's 3K to go here. It's Nitko, Milostic, and X100. Those are the riders that we're seeing, and we're just seeing X100 move himself onto Peter Milostic's wheel, having a steadier start and a bigger push on this lap number 3. SS is coming up as well. Stewart 43 seconds back now, but Peter Milostic doing a phenomenal job on the racing here, and X100, well, doing some phenomenal pacing.
Yeah, X100, I think they're getting back onto Milostic's wheel is going to be critical. He's got SS with him. The UAE clan team here are going to be pushing their lead out, dependent on the performance. I think it's going to be Phil Graves, their third counter, going over the line potentially. But it's going to come down to this climb. It's going to come down to this last descent going up. Nitko is on the descent down towards it. Remember, when we hit that 39 kilometer marker, it's basically 1K uphill into a slight headwind. It's brutal, and it is seeing the time gaps change dramatically. Milostic has been working to stay ahead of X100 and reverse the time gap that X100 had to Milostic. It's not worked, and at the moment, X100 is ahead of Milostic on the time trial. Nitko is ahead of him. Nitko at one stage almost had the lead on the road because he had basically taken back enough time to move into the lead, but very quickly that was closed down. Nico now is only a handful of seconds ahead of X100 Milostic and SS. Behind Stewart, Ziaz, and Damsgaard, they are all riding at 4 positions now in the overall championship here on MyWhoosh in Montreal, in the park that's in the streets of the city that will see the World Road Championships, the time trial and the road races taking place in and around Montreal later this year. The MyWhoosh Championships are their first this year. They're on your screens, and at the moment we are seeing the battle here between David Nitko on the front and the rider in 4th place on the road, SS, with those blue wheels on the left-hand side of your screen.
Yeah, we are indeed. And David Nitko at the 39.3 kilometre marker is into the final 1,000 metres of this individual time trial. He's got the final bank to go, and it is steep, and it feels like it goes on forever. I can absolutely guarantee that because I've raced on this course. But Nitko and X100, David Nitko comes round the corner. He sights the finish line. He's got to get over this bank, and he's got to continue to push on. Jason Osborne at the moment is at the 34.4 kilometre marker. He's coming up to 50 minutes of racing. He too, well, he's got company because not far behind is Ruben Dont. That's looking like about 8 or 9 seconds to me. But let's just drop back in with David Nitko because he is indeed pushing towards that finish line today. He's just going to be outside the hour as he continues with the final 300 metres of the race. What a race Nitko has had today out on the individual time trial. It has been absolutely superb. The battle has been going on behind him, but he's managed to stay clear of it, and stay clear of it he has. He's just got the final 200 metres to go, and they are indeed finishing fast behind. But Nitko, I think, is going to hold this gap to the line. He sits back down. He buries himself. His heart rate is climbing. The power is good as Nitko moves towards the UCI banner, moves towards the finish line today at the individual time trial and lays down the marker in category 2. He's going to come over the line. The finishing time, well, it's going to be 61 minutes and 6 seconds. Nitko takes the win in the individual time trial in category 2. And X100, SS and Milostic are locked together here at the finish line. X100 in 2, SS in 3, Milostic in 4. But the time gaps are minuscule between those 3 riders today.
So Mr. X100 came in with that gold jersey. I think he's going to go out with that gold jersey. The time gap to Nitko has gone down. Nitko at 29 seconds overall in the overall competition. He's holding on to second at the moment with Peter Milostic in third, and it looks like Guerre is not going to make it into the top 3, and we saw him losing time. How much time will he lose? We're only going to find out when he crosses the line. That won't be all that long, hopefully, but we're going to focus in on our category 1 race a little bit more as they start to come into the finish. They are out at the moment by about 4K. Osborne from Dont, from Van Elst, from Jones, and from Skierski. And in terms of that overall race, Emma, this is going to be really interesting. I mean, Osborne has not opened a minute anywhere. He's opened his time gap by taking 10, 20, 30 seconds at a time.
Well, to me, the danger place here is Van Elst versus Jones, because at the moment Van Elst has now gone past Ollie Jones, and this is about who is on the podium, I think, and that's going to be a really interesting one because Don is putting in a great performance today, and so is Van Elst. Well, Jamie Cahill on your screen at the moment. He is the next rider in the category 2 race to come through to the line. Great racing from him, just behind James Krasnich. In fact, he's picking up the pace and coming on to Krasnich wheel. It may well be Cahill over Krasnich. You just never know. But the work going in at the moment from Cahill to get to the line. He's going to come up alongside Krasnich. Now, we said every second counts. Every place counts for Jamie Cahill as Cahill goes up and past Krasnich. Nice work there. Sits back down, goes underneath the banner and takes that extra place.
Yeah, not many people roll James Krasnich on the way in towards a finishing line, but that's happened out here on the course. Milan Temerton in behind. Just looking at Osborne in this race lead. Just scrolling down my screens here, Nathan Guerra in the end came over the line in 13th position, 132 down on our race leader.
Drops him to 5th on GC, 129 back.
Holding top 5.
Holding top five.
I'm going with the positives. That's holding top 5.
Yeah.
If you
Holding
have a
top
bad
5.
day, holding top 5 in a GC is still a good day.
He's got a 5-second gap ahead of 6th place. So again, you know, the racing tomorrow, the final stage is going to count in a lot of these categories. Well, at the moment, we've got the only category who have not completed the time trial out on course at the moment, and 2.5 kilometers of racing for Jason Osborne. Will he go underneath the minute marker? It's not been broken yet. Can it be broken by Jason Osborne as he drives towards the line? The world champion now in front of Ruben Don. And I'm just taking a little look at the time gap. You know, Don is holding this at around 10 seconds. It is absolutely fabulous racing from Ruben Don. Stefan Van Elst now clear by 5 seconds of Ollie Jones. Ollie Jones needs to hold this. Skierski admittedly is around 20 seconds behind him. Then Fryer and Thrall. Osborne and Dont. 2 riders, 1 and 2 at the moment here in the individual time trial, and they are separated by 10 seconds.
It's not a lot to say that we've done all this racing. I think one of the things we have seen in this stage race is that the category 1 riders behind Jason Osborne have leveled up substantially. They've come up maybe 3, 4, 5 levels. Unfortunately for them, Jason Osborne started off 10 levels above, so they've not caught him back, but they are really doing a great job of getting closer to him. Emma, you're looking at the stats.
I am, because 21 seconds separated Ollie Jones from Stefan Van Elst on GC this morning. And that is a really big battle out there, because Stefan Van Elst is now ahead of Ollie Jones, and the gap is going out.
A little bit.
Stefan Van Elst could be riding himself into 2nd position overall today.
Wow.
Ruben Dont was 116 back on GC in 4th place. Pavel Skierski in 5th place. Fryer in 6th. Then it was Milostic, Turek, Kaminski, Pedersen and Thrall. Thomas Thrall is having a fabulous race out there today. He's currently in 7th on the road. It's all going to come down to the time gaps. It's all going to come down to the seconds.
It certainly is. Make sure that you catch up with all of the results on the MyWhoosh.com website and on MyWhooshinfo.com for all of the analysis on today's race. And of course, we'll be bringing you lots of chat discussions and 2 more great guests on the Inside the Race podcast. Myself, Matt Payne, Emma Mossett and Hayley Simmons will be chatting and talking with the guests and analysing today's racing and looking forward to the last stage of the racing, which is coming up tomorrow, stage number 7. But at the moment, the world champion, the leader of the championships, coming in here on MyWhoosh. Jason Osborne can see the banner.
Yeah, he can do indeed, and he's tapping a rhythm now towards the banner. He's going to go underneath the hour today. Jason Osborne well and truly under the hour. He pushes on towards the banner. He's 14 seconds clear of Ruben Dont behind, who's done an absolutely fabulous job. Stefan Van Elst is closing in on Dont very, very quickly, but Osborne is going to go underneath the banner and take the win in the time trial. That is going to be 57.15 for Jason Osborne. Fabulous time out there in Montreal. Great racing, job done. Ruben Dont coming up for 2nd place. Van Elst is sprinting behind. He's desperate to try and close down the seconds, but Ruben Dont 2nd on the time trial today. Stefan Van Elst comes over the line in 3rd. Ollie Jones is going to close this down in 4th today. Pavel Skierski's got a battle out there with Neil Fryer, because Fryer is pushing on as well.
So Fryer making his way towards the line. He's 9 seconds down. Skierski, I think he's not going to get that gap closed down. Still riders in other race categories making the way down to the line here. As we see Skierski out of the saddle. He can see the line now. He's trying to kick his way in to minimize those time gaps, to maximize his advantage on the riders behind. And this is now key in that team competition. The final bosses have put riders into 1st and into 3rd place. Zero Ducks sat in between. The Kiwi jumping the sandwich. Ruben Don, the Belgian for the Zero Duck squad. Alpha Jaw riders behind. Jones in fourth. Fifth place going to be for Fryer as he goes over the line here. So top 5 riders in category 1 at the moment, I think, as we take a look on our scores at the moment.
Wow, that's all I can say. Jason Osborne, take a look at the time, 57 minutes, 15 seconds for the world champion today. He was leading GC when he came in. He'll be leading GC at the end of today. He'll be leading GC into the final stage today. He's won every single stage so far. Will he win tomorrow, or will somebody else win in what is likely to be a sprint finish? I say likely because I think the team competition is going to come down to the wire in some of the other categories. I think the team competition is pretty much sealed up for the final bosses with today's time trial, but we'll take a look at that in a while. So Osborne taking the win from Dont. In category 2, it was Nico from X100, SS Milostic, Stewart and Zillard. That was just so close. It really, really was.
So our riders making the way in through over the line and coming into our race finish. Let's take a little bit of a chat and then a little bit of a look at the standings here, Emma. Today, we saw some really big surprises in the women's race. The men's was kind of going the way we thought until some of the midway points. And then we started to see people, I think, in some of our categories really paying the price. Not necessarily for today's riding, but maybe just get caught out by the accumulative fatigue here, because it's
It's James. Same as kind of the rest of these races. 315 normalised. About 10 or 15 watts down on what I think. Hello? Hello? Yeah, I did alright today. Yeah. Alright, see you then. Okay. Alright, bye. I'll shut myself back again. I can say, I think indoors in the game, it's fucking done. Almost as dumb as steering. You stop fishing. I'm way more powerful when I'm fishing. Yeah, it was actually a really good time trial course, I thought. In terms of distance and kind of in 3 laps, I actually thought that was a really good course. I thought it was good. What watch did you do, Jamie? Sweet, well done. That's a winner PB. I kind of almost want to say if it was a pan black, 1 hour effort. I'd be interested to see what people can do for 1 hour on the trainer, like an actual 1 hour test. Nobody ever does a 1 hour test. That would benefit a lot of people.
Guys, I think this is it. We've been waiting for about 3 weeks for this moment. I can see a ship in the distance there. We're gonna take over this ship right here. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Yep. What's just happened? Please, no. No, chat, are we still here? No, what's going on? Yo, hello, chat. Please, I just need another chance, please. Hey, oh, we're back. We have another chance to do this. 2 chances, always better than 1. Lotto gets it.
Again, the RPE for the effort just felt so high. And my heart rate was just like 10 BPM lower than a time trial kind of effort would normally be for me. And I just wouldn't. I just didn't feel like I could push anymore. Bizarre. I started to get worried at halfway, like I'm not going to manage 300 watts. But I did, so the third lap was my best kind of sensations, but still just. I did worry that having a really easy day yesterday would make my body go into deep recovery mode, like 800 TSS and hikes, but. Yeah, on Saturday, I'm at 24C in here now. Stages 1 and 2 were 28. But Saturday again, it got up to like 20, 21 tops. What a difference that made. The cooler it is in the garage, the higher my core temp can be before it starts really negatively impacting me. That's what I've noticed. The cooler the room, the higher my core temp can be. Jamie, it was. I think tomorrow we're going to be back up there, by the way. It's going to be another. Alright, I'll be back up to 28, 29 here again. Nice. It was like 28 point something C and 81% humidity. Scottish people die in this. And I'm on the trainer. Just not good. So yeah, I think we're going to be warmer again tomorrow, man. Yeah. I just using it as a big training block really. I was way off the mark for stage 1 and 2. So it's just a big fatigue week for me. And to get through something. No illusion that it's anything other than that at this point. It'll be a reward for me to get through it and then get back out, get to the bunch on Thursday. I can't wait to get back outside. Nice one. Yeah, on the Columbia stage, I was sitting in the bunch quite happy, 340 to 360 on the climb.
Yeah.
It was when they went up to 370 to 390, I couldn't cope.
Yeah.
If I was racing at my actual weight, I'd have been sitting in the bunch at 320 and only having to go to 360 to hold on. So I'm just trying to give myself these little positives. I'm not as far off it as I think. There's a lot of factors kind of getting in the way. I was quite happy that 5 days in, I had the best legs I've had. I was absolutely knackered, but I felt good on the bike. So, got to try and find some positives from it. Yeah, right? And then you're looking at the results after it, and the guys are all doing walks that you know you can do.
Yeah.
You're like, in the heat of it, you're like, these guys are so much stronger. You look at the watts after it on MyWhoosh info, and you're like, I can do that. I was nowhere near. It's a hard one to understand and take. Like, what am I doing wrong? I've seen a lot of people complaining about the categories. The way I'm seeing it is all the categories, it's like, you've got a heap of guys that are too good for the category, they're winning it. You've got a bunch of guys in the middle that are just, yeah. And then you've got a bunch of guys at the back who are not good enough to be in that category. So you swap them with the category below, then dominating that one, and those ones aren't good enough. It's just like the circle of life in whoosh. Smashing folk or getting smashed. And everyone's just complaining about who's in what cat.
Oh, my legs feel like they're coming back.
So what's tomorrow's stage? Arabia, flat route. Some little spikies, some little climb at 50k, climb at 60k. $79 kilometers. Is that the longest stage then? 80 kilometers. I think that might be the longest one. Pan flat. Just they have to have quite a lot of climbing in it because racing on the flat in it is so poor. Like there's just kind of or a downhill. See, that went from a -1% to 0% there. I actually kind of can tell it went from a slight downhill to a pan flat. Like just looking at it, you can. There's root there. Hey, Zwift and MyWhoosh graphics looked well better than Zwift. Just too cartoony. I read in here now and I'm like, it's not even close, is it? This is way nicer. Ah, I think it's pretty good. But it's the feel of it, isn't it? The feel in this game is just like 4 leagues above. Saying Olympics Virtual's about to get a big update. new rider animations, a new pod, new overlay, a lot of changes. That'll be interesting to see. I might go back and spend a bit of time on it. At least they're actually trying. Yeah. So the integration of you in the kind of environment, it's unbeatable on here. By the way, it could look like industry leading A tier graphics, but if it feels like shit, it did, John, but I think there's more coming. It's just continuing, so. I think it would be interesting to see day to day, just riding around in the worlds, excluding events, just people doing workouts and using the game. Push versus PPV. The biggest problem with TPV is behind a Training Peak subscription, which sort of holds it back, in my opinion.
Oh, my legs. They came back, they've gone again. Yeah. I'm not sure. Every year I get 40% off Training Peaks, and for the 18 months prior to I subscribed again like 3 months ago for a year, I got 40% off. And before that, I had 18 months of not paying for it. I had it for free. So I don't know. Yeah, 40%, Jamie. That's what I get. Without the British Cycling Premium bit. Makes about 75 a year, right? So that's way cheaper than Zwift. Zwift's 20 a month, right? I agree with you. I think Zwift is like 12 a month. 20 a month is way too much for it. We're all paying it. I won't stop paying it, but I think it is about 12 a month. 20 is too expensive. As I said before, all these people that are using Whoosh for workouts and stuff, they're only doing that because they don't want to pay for Zwift. Right? Taking money out of the equation, nobody's going to ride around on Whoosh and so does Zwift. Let's be honest here. And that's why I think TPV is screwed up, because if that was a free or mega cheap alternative, I think a lot of those people that are slumming it on Whoosh, they would use TPV just to ride and do the workouts and stuff. If it was like a $5 a month. But behind the Training Peaks sub, people are like, well, I don't want Training Peaks. Which I don't blame them for, because Training Peaks is a constant source of headaches. It is not a good training platform. And to have the game behind that doesn't really make sense to me. Like Terra, I've still never ridden on the thing. I'd be interested if all this information was public. The other thing is, this doesn't obviously pick up anything from what I've been doing on Whoosh, so this is should probably like mid-80s. Can I do anything to get my strain on Whoosh to be shown here? Like, yeah, I have my Joe recording and the MyWhoosh one. I have them in Wahoo, which is what Zwift's connected to. So like if I do an outdoor ride on this, it will show me the strain, it'll be in the training score. But the MyWhoosh ones don't appear to be, even though they're on Wahoo. I have a play about with it. Because this is going to go way out of sync now, and that doesn't matter. I use Training Peaks as my source of truth, but it's still going to annoy me. Detraining. And Jamie, I see you're still streaming. Right, we're just going to end the stream today, guys. Jamie's here anyway, cooling down. See you again tomorrow.
for the last one. You too, Jamie. Thanks, man. See you tomorrow, okay?
Alright, see you
We'll
later.
get through this year. We'll do it. It'll be so worth it.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your Monday, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Check the score, see who's finished. Got 41 finishes. Sorry, I thought 42 starters. So we finished 7th today. Can't moan at that.
I gotta go. I gotta go work in like 20 minutes to get a shower. Right.